Yo, what's up, everybody? And welcome to the Outlaw Nation, and specifically The Nation, the one show here on the channel that is hosted by me, that I talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about and have fun with you all, going live to talk about the things that are going on in the world of entertainment, the world of sports, politics, and in this case, pro wrestling. A lot to get into here today, a lot to have fun conversations with you all as well, and great to see you all hanging out with me right off the bat. You know, and a bunch of people here hanging out with the Outlaw. That's me here on The Nation. Thanks so much for joining us. We are going to get into the big thing on my thumbnail, which is, of course, the WWE's decision the other night in Alabama, of all places, to quote Forrest Gump there, to move aside Cody Rhodes so that The Rock could slide in here with no build-up, no prep, no establishing issues, nothing, to take Cody Rhodes' spot to fight The Rock at WrestleMania there in Philadelphia, just a few short weeks away. Massive explosion of reactions on social media, positive and negative, some in the middle, some telling people to relax, some people saying it ain't that deep, other people saying, shut your goddamn mouth. Of course it's that deep. There's a lot that goes on with this, and we'll explain to those lunkheads why people are so upset about this, or why people have such strong opinions about this. I can't wait to get into it. Just want to remind you all, this is the channel. This is a live show. Streamlabs and SuperChats are open. If you want to send in some donations, send in some questions, thoughts, and comments, I will read them on the screen. But you all know I just go and go and go. So just letting you know right off the bat, if you want to send them in, send them in. I'd love to have them. You see it right above my head there, the Streamlabs address, or send in your SuperChats. I'll bring them up, either read them or put them up on the screen, and we can address them as we go along. And I got 100 of you joining me live already. Thanks so much. Please remember to hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. That's really important. We just crossed 32,100 subscribers the other day, marching towards that 50,000 goal, and eventually 100,000. If we can get there, that'd be great. But I'm so controversial, who knows if I'll get to 100,000. But I'd love to, and I'd love to have you guys aboard to do that with me as well. Hit a like on the video. If you're watching later, you can leave a comment on any of the stuff we're talking about here, or leave a super thanks or a thanks. You can hit that thanks button and send in some support, as Sharon Pollitt does on almost every show. And thank you, Sharon. You're awesome. I appreciate it madly. So, yeah, a lot of stuff to get into. I'm also going to get into Carl Weathers, talking a little bit more about the unexpected passing of Carl Weathers at 76 years old. Heartbreaking stuff for sure. I'm going to talk about my experiences with Carl Weathers growing up, and what his legacy is to me, and what his legacy may be to a lot of you all as well. Also going to get into some box office bullshit, as I said in my tweet there. I see some people coming for Henry Cavill over how Argylle did, which is completely off base off who you should be coming after for why that movie severely underperformed at the box office. Although a lot of people are probably going to watch it on Apple out of curiosity's sake. There's a lot of reasons why the film failed, and none of them have to do with Henry Cavill. So we'll talk about that, where the box office is going into Monday as well. So thank you so much for joining me here on the channel. I appreciate it madly. Hope you all are having a good weekend. I'll tell you, my weekend's been a little interesting. Yesterday was we were car shopping all weekend, because we are looking at possibly getting a new Toyota. I haven't bought a new car in 12 years. My girlfriend hasn't bought a car in a little bit over that. We've leased a car, but we are looking at getting a Toyota. So if anybody's out there who's a Toyota salesman or Toyota general manager at a sales facility that can help us with the best price, we've got something we're specifically looking at. But we spent the whole day dealing with that, and also dealing with some bullshit with a Nissan lease. As I said, we leased a car through Nissan. We bought out the rest of the lease so that we could sell it, because right now used cars are selling for a good amount of money, and you can make a little bit of profit off that. And hey, that's how you can do it sometimes in this world. But unfortunately, Nissan did not send us a letter they were supposed to send us, which is a courtesy letter to let us know that we needed to pay a certain amount of taxes and whatever at the DMV. And sure, we could have explored it, but honestly, as a courtesy, they didn't do that. So I can tell you right now, don't ever lease through Nissan. They're crooks. They try to screw you over and screw you out of money, because if you don't sell the car back to them, they don't feel the responsibility to help you get out ahead. Never mind that you've been giving them money for a number of years on their car. They don't give a shit about you. So unfortunately, that's how it goes with Nissan. Maybe the other companies are the same, but we've only ever dealt with Nissan as a couple. I dealt with Volkswagen. They were fine to me years ago when I leased a car, but Nissan, a bunch of crooks and trying to desperately cheat my life partner out of some money that she deserved to get for having taken care of that car for so long and well. So we will see down the road. But CarMax is helping us out with that. So shout out to CarMax. They're a great company. They're fantastic people. So I love them personally. So, all right. Well, let's good to see everybody here. We got 150 y'all hanging out with me. So let's just get into it now. Let's not waste any time. So the other nights at SmackDown, this happened. This massive situation happened. Cody Rhodes came out. I watched this whole segment again today just to keep it fresh in my mind. Let me tell you right off the bat, Roman Reigns delivered another fantastic promo. You know, it's hard to believe this is the same guy who got his ass handed to him by John Cena just a few years ago and made fun of and couldn't do a promo, couldn't go back and forth with somebody. His solo promos are fantastic. I saw some people giving him shit for going after Seth or for going after the title that Seth owns, but he's speaking the truth. That title means nothing. That is a made-up, fabricated title. Now, a lot of you might be like, hey, dummy, they're all fabricated. Yes, but ones that are fabricated with a legacy carry more weight than ones that are recently fabricated. You know what I'm saying? There's more weight. Like the Mean Girls remake. Do you put more stock into the remake or you put more stock into the Mean Girls movie, the original one that came out that has years of legacy behind it for multiple generations enjoying that? That's the fucking difference. Even Cody Rhodes said it when he came out. That's the belt that Bruno Sammartino held, Bob Backlund held, Hulk Hogan held, the Iron Sheik held for a little bit, and a number of other people who've built it up. So to somehow turn it around and make it about Seth's belt, which literally just got here a few days ago, it makes no fucking sense. So I saw people get upset about that. I'm like, no, he's a heel. That's his job. His job is to run down the belt so that in the future, if Seth and Roman meet for that belt, it'll be something. You know what I'm saying? It'll mean something because it'll be like, I'm going to show you how legitimate this belt is. These are seeds that were being laid. But I saw people getting upset about the promo. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Have you ever watched pro wrestling before? That's how it goes. You're supposed to lay the groundwork as the top heel for rivalries or for programs down the road with a number of people. And I thought it was great. I thought what Roman said was perfect, delivered it so well, working 10 times less than Seth, but making 10 times more money. It's just like YouTube, right? Sometimes you see that one YouTube channel, they do one movie a week or one video a week, and they get like 100,000, 5 million views. And the rest of us are out here doing like 5 or 6 videos a week or 7 or 8 videos a week, trying to get ourselves paid and trying to put food on the table. So there's the difference in the approach, right? So that's where it is. Both of them have merits in their own way, but one is not above the other if both are successful. So I think that's where I thought Seth was way off base with his promos. And Seth has to work that hard because Roman's right. He hasn't gotten over to the point that Roman has. He hasn't. And he's carried that strap multiple times. The company didn't get behind Seth the way they got behind Roman. And I also thought Roman saying that he's walking around wearing his wife's clothes, I thought was a great shot for a heel to do at Seth. We know Seth has his own style, but it was a nice shot to take. So all of that was great. The lead up into this moment was great. I mean, Roman going full heel, dropping bombs on everybody, saying everybody's fighting for the number 2 belt. You're all a bunch of number 2s. I'm surprised he didn't bring it up the NCAA tournament versus the NIT tournament. That's essentially the same thing. And that's what he was saying. And I love that. It was such a great way to start a promo, man. I was jealous, the Outlaw from the Schmodown days was jealous watching that promo because it would have been fun to see that happening if we'd hung around long enough as a league to have a little moment like that. Would have been a blast. Battle of the belts. I know we've had battle of the belts, but like legitimate battle of the belts would have been fun to see down the road for sure. But yeah, that was great as an intro and laying at the groundwork and everything like that. And then boom, out comes Cody. And this is where we get the moment here with Cody coming out to confront Roman and talk about things with Roman and say, hey, I get what you're saying, but I want that belt. I get what Seth is saying, but I want that belt that's on your shoulder. And I've worked hard to get into this position to get that belt. And I want to take that belt from you, but I want to do more than that. I want to take everything from you, which is something that we have been saying for quite some time as fans of pro wrestling, that the greatest way to destroy Roman is to leave him as a king without a kingdom. A king without a kingdom, something that you guys remember from Excalibur. Lancelot said that about Arthur, right? In Excalibur, the king without a land, the land without a king, the king without a kingdom, that kind of thing. And so that's important because then he can go into the wastelands and wander and think about himself and what mistakes he's made. And certainly we know people who don't want to look at the mistakes that they've made in life, but would rather blame everyone else for their mistake, for their shortcomings or their fallings, when in fact, at the end of the day, at 3 a.m., you have to look at yourself and find out why you haven't accomplished the things you've accomplished or wanted to accomplish, or why you've lost the things you've accomplished. That's the truth in life. So to see that be an element down the road would have been fun to see for sure. And who knows, we may still get that. But Cody then says, I want to take everything from you. And then he says, but not at WrestleMania. And that was the moment. That was the moment where you could sense the crowd just come to a screeching halt. I don't care how they try to lie to you about how that crowd reacted to that moment. They all came to a screeching halt in that moment, watching Cody say that it wasn't going to happen at WrestleMania. Because you know who pays for tickets to go see these shows? They're diehard wrestling fans, pro wrestling fans. They're guys and ladies, their mothers and fathers bringing their children to come and enjoy because their children are into pro wrestling. That's how I got into it. My father took me a number of times in DC to the old Capitol Center to see the WWF at the time, superstars like Hogan and Savage and so many. And when I lived in LA, I used to go and see Raw and SmackDown when I could. Luckily, I was allowed to go backstage a couple of times and meet some of the guys who were massive and were most of them really, really nice, including Paul Levesque, Triple H. So it was a nice experience for me overall. So I know those are things you pass on. Those are things you go. So you're spending your hard-earned money to be there, and you're waiting for Cody to finish his story. For those of you who don't know, Cody Rhodes lost to Roman Reigns at last WrestleMania. Everybody in the world thought he was going to win, and he didn't win. So now everybody thought, okay, they're going to take their time. They're going to lead him down this road. And then WrestleMania is going to happen. When Cody Rhodes won at Royal Rumble, that was the blessing from CM Punk. Go and get your bag. Go and get that belt. Go and get your father's legacy. Because I will be a small piece by being the last person in the ring, getting thrown out of the ring. I am the small piece in helping you get to the place that my hero and your father never got to, which is to be the official WWE heavyweight champion, holding that belt, not Seth's belt. And so I thought that was a really nice thing at the Royal Rumble. But then they come in this moment and be like, well, you know what? I'm going to take everything from you, but not here at WrestleMania. Not on the grandest stage of all, the biggest stage of all. And I don't care what Triple H says in a post-premium live event press conference. I don't care what these fools on the internet say. We're going to take a look at some of these reactions on Twitter. We're going to go through some reactions on Twitter. Trust me on that. I don't care what those people say on Twitter. WrestleMania is where the big stuff happens. Not SummerSlam, not Royal Rumble, not motherfucking Fastlane. It is WrestleMania. It's called the road to WrestleMania. It's not the road to SummerSlam or the road to the Royal Rumble, the road to any other, the road to the Elimination Chamber. No, it's the road to WrestleMania. It is the road to the Super Bowl. It is the road to fucking WrestleMania, okay? Beating, as the Buffalo Bills will tell you, beating the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season ain't beating them in the playoffs, okay? That's the truth, and that's the difference. No matter how much they try to mess with your minds, and some of these fly-in pundits, wrestling pundits coming in saying like, hey, I don't get it. What does it matter where he finishes his story? It could be anywhere. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. WrestleMania is where everything happens and where everything is supposed to happen. And the reason The Rock is stepping in for Cody is because it's WrestleMania. He's not stepping in for Cody at Royal Rumble. He's not stepping in for Cody at SummerSlam or fucking Fastlane or whatever new premium live event they came up with this month. He has stepped in at WrestleMania because The Rock knows, the WWE knows that it is the grandest stage of them all. The granddaddy of all the premium live events is WrestleMania. Anyone who's anyone wrestles at WrestleMania, okay? So the people who are out here trying to say like it could finish the story somewhere else, it will not have the effect. It will not have the massive impact. It will not have the cultural impact like it would at WrestleMania. Why? Because even casual wrestling observers watch WrestleMania. Even news outlets and websites and all these places that cover pop culture don't cover the other pay-per-views or premium live events the way they cover WrestleMania, which is why headlining WrestleMania is a massive deal. And I've seen some people post on Twitter like, well, it never used to be like Coach. I was so shocked. Look, I'm older than Coach, so I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've watched wrestling longer than he has because I'm older than him. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Coachman has no idea what he's talking about when he says it's only recently been an issue that star people coming in to take wrestler spots. Bull fucking shit. Go all the way back to WrestleMania 1. Rowdy Roddy Piper hated that Mr. T, a celebrity, was part of WrestleMania 1. Hated it. Spoke about it, and you've seen the biographies. He's spoken about it. He wanted to actually hurt him. Hogan and Orndorff, or Hogan and Mean Gene Okerlund have said that they had to control Roddy. They had to stop Roddy. Like there was conversations with Roddy. Don't hurt T. Don't actually hurt him. Because Roddy Piper actually did punch him. Roddy Piper actually did have moments with Mr. T that were kind of rough. So this idea that it's never been an issue, bullshit. It's always been an issue. It was an issue when Snooki showed up on the fucking Jersey Shore. It was an issue when all these celebrities show up and they take a hard-earned wrestler's spot. And look, this is one of the most unique situations with The Rock because it's the second time he's done this situation. And we'll get to the decision and all of that. But it's for those of you who may not be histories of the world or historians of the world of professional wrestling or the world of the WWE, The Rock did this to CM Punk years ago against Brock Lesnar, and it was a waste. It was an absolute waste. The fans booed most of the match. The fans knew what was going on, and he took his spot. And this is the thing that's insane about the whole situation is he's doing it again. So it is massively insane to think about the fact that he is in a position yet again at this point to take it over. Now, Cody says, I'm not going to do it at WrestleMania. Let's go back to this thing. And he says, but I know someone who you know really well who is going to do it at WrestleMania. Then The Rock's music hits. And of course, because whenever The Rock's music hits, people explode. Why? Because they love The Rock. And especially inside of an arena. I mean, you're just caught up in the, groupthink in an arena. And so when you hear The Rock's music, you're like, great. And the reason you cheer is because it's The Rock. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when he comes down to the ring what this is all about. You don't know what the plans are. The Rock comes down, has this whole thing, and he looks great, by the way. Looks fantastic. The Rock, slim, but still big. He looks great. Couldn't jump around as much as we've seen him do in the past because he's older. He walks down, he's got more injuries, whatever. Walks down to the ring, then climbs up, does his thing that he does, and the fans are reacting. And it's positive. It's all positive. And then he walks up to Cody. And this is the moment we get, as I was bringing up here. This is the moment we get the shaking of the hand, right? This you can tell was a recent development. Watch Cody Rhodes. And I watched the unedited because WWE took down the original video and they've put up the new video and they've edited out Cody's reaction. They've edited out Cody's sad look when he's walking away from the ring. They're trying to manipulate what actually happened in this situation, that somehow Cody was okay with it. But you can clearly tell if you're remotely knowledgeable of body language or body language 101, this whole segment will show you that Cody Rhodes is doing what he's being asked to do, but he doesn't like it. At least that's my opinion, my observation. He doesn't like it. The Rock gets in the ring, climbs down from the ropes after he's getting his love and his plaudits from the fans, which he loves, which who wouldn't love? I'm not faulting him for that. Walks over and then looks at Cody, and they look at each other, Cody and The Rock, and it's The Rock who puts out his hand. And you see Cody, he doesn't put out his hand initially. He waits. He hesitates. Then he puts out his hand, begrudgingly almost, gets the shake from The Rock. And here's the thing that you have to, if you rewatch it again uncut, here's the thing to look at. Cody gets yanked into The Rock. He does not want to go and shake The Rock's hand. He does not want to go and be hugged by The Rock. He doesn't go in for the big hug. He doesn't lean in forward with the hug. It's The Rock who yanks him to him to kind of validate it for himself and to validate it to the fans. And then he whispers stuff to Cody in there, and God knows what he said, whether it's staged, whether it's a work or not. But you could see Cody's face change multiple times. from him with the smile and yeah, okay, and then Rock going on, and Cody being like, getting a serious look on his face, pulling away from the Rock, climbing out of the ring rather, and then walking away. But we see the shots of him looking forlorn, looking sad about the situation, and he heads to the back, right? And then what we're left with is the Rock walking towards Roman walking towards him. And everyone's chanting, this is awesome, because of course you're in the arena, you're caught up in the Rock versus Roman Reigns. You're not thinking about, wait, what's the long-term ramifications of this? It's not till after the event that your brain kind of reconnects to reality and you realize, wait a minute, what the fuck was the point of Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble? By the way, only the third person ever in the history of the WWE to win the Royal Rumble twice if he wasn't going to cash in his chips at WrestleMania. Because in no way, shape, or form is him cashing the chips the same as cashing it at Royal Rumble or SummerSlam or anywhere else you can, or any other premium live events you can name. Cashing it at WrestleMania is what it's all about. People point to the WrestleMania signs for a reason. And watching some of these wrestling pundits go and act as if it doesn't matter where Cody finishes his story, acting as if there isn't a road to WrestleMania, acting as if WrestleMania isn't that big of a deal to finish your story, acting as if pointing to WrestleMania, the sign, isn't a legendary thing to do at the Royal Rumble, and acting as if the WWE doesn't make it very, very clear that WrestleMania is the unique premium live event every year. They do. It isn't Royal Rumble. It isn't SummerSlam. It isn't any other else you can name. No matter how much they lie to you, it's not. WrestleMania is the number one event on the WWE calendar, bar none. This is why they get the plethora of celebrities that they get to be at WrestleMania. It is because it is the biggest premium live event of their year. They shell out the money to bring celebrities and bring people to appear. It doesn't mean people don't appear at the house shows or Raw or SmackDown. Of course they do. But the amount of people that appear at WrestleMania, old, new wrestlers showing up, people coming in from NXT, people buying tickets to go and see this who are wrestlers, this happens at WrestleMania, okay? And the WWE makes it very clear. So they can't like act like it's not a big deal or feign ignorance about it. It is a monster of their own making. So they can't be mad that people are upset about the fact that Cody Rhodes, who worked his way back from that loss to be in his position, doesn't deserve the shot. Now, let's do a little nuance here. Because people are trying to now twist why people are upset. I see these people who have strong followings or large followings who are wrestling pundits and have their own YouTube channels and blah, blah, blah. But they're out here saying things like, why are you guys so mad? This is the match that makes money. This match makes money. This match makes money. No one legitimately is mad about this matchup. People would love to see Roman Reigns versus The Rock. They would love to see it. The reason people are pissed, and these people are ignoring it on purpose because they know the reason. They're just trying to manipulate you for likes and clicks and money on their Google ads and all that shit. The reason that people are mad is because the way it all went down. Execution. Like everything in life, execution. It's like a movie. Why don't you like the movie? You've got a great director, a great actor, a great screenwriter. What's wrong with you? Great cinematographer. Why don't you like the movie? Well, I don't like the movie because the way you built the movie, the way you constructed the movie, the way you led to that ending, I didn't like. I didn't buy it. The twist, I didn't buy it. And so that's the same thing here. They've done, and because WWE correlates to a soap opera, correlates to a TV show, correlates to a movie, you've got to build things up. The people ask me all the time, why do you still love it? Why do you still get into it? Because it's in essence a TV show. It's in essence a movie. And that's what these premium live events, they're movies. They're TV shows, right? They're season finales or cliffhangers. That's what these things are. And the reason people are upset, and these people who want to try to change the reasons why they're upset, they want to manipulate it and be bad faith actors in this. The reason people are upset is because you've done nothing to build this situation up. And don't give me some random comment The Rock said months ago. Don't give me some shit from 2 or 3 years ago that was dropped or said. Don't give me this shit about family, okay? It was not built up for Cody to be sat down, because that's what he was. He was sat down, and for The Rock to take his spot. The other part of this, and the other reason people are mad, which these people seem to be ignoring, these people who are upset at people for not liking this decision, is that this is being done to save Vince McMahon's ass. This is being done to save the WWE's ass because of the Vince McMahon situation. That's why this is being done. The Wrestling Observer reported it in their on their website. So did Pro Wrestling Insider. All these people reported it on their website, saying that The Rock and TKO and Endeavor all came together and decided that this was the right decision. This wasn't built up. This wasn't created. They didn't lay any groundwork for any of this. They just decided, you know what, the easiest way to get out of the negative press of Vince McMahon trafficking a woman, and allegedly, I should say allegedly, so I don't need anybody suing me, and maybe allegedly trafficked even more women. I don't want to say anything about Ashley Massara, but, do your research. The reason all this stuff happened is because of the allegations that were so horrible. Brock Lesnar has been wiped off of WWE. Vince McMahon is being wiped off WWE. Even the executive, the CEO over there at Netflix, or not that's right, but the CEO program, even she said, yeah, Vince is gone. He's not part of the WWE anymore. Vince is gone, which is, of course, horseshit, because all the people connected with Vince, including his son-in-law, are still running or part of the people running or in executive positions at WWE. So this idea that Vince McMahon is gone is nonsense, absolute nonsense. His influence is still a part of the WWE. We don't know how many people knew about the shit he was doing. We don't know how many people covered up the shit he was doing. And there needs to be more accountability. But sadly, and this is where some of you might get fucking upset, sadly, we live in a bit of a patriarchal society, a lot of a patriarchal society. And so other men calling out other men for doing horrific shit to women isn't necessarily the predominant point of view of a lot of people in the media, a lot of people in places to call out this kind of stuff. So that's why you're seeing that's why you're not seeing people getting called out. That's why you're not seeing like NBC News and CBS and ABC and Dateline and all these people like converging on the WWE to find out what the truth is. Why aren't they doing these massive investigations? Why aren't they hassling them outside their places of work? Why aren't they trying to get sound bites from them outside their homes? Why aren't they out there camping out to try to find out the truth? Why aren't they ratcheting up the pressure to get people to talk, to get people to reveal the truth about what they knew about what Vince was doing and how much they knew? So it's all out there, right? But it's very clear from what we're seeing from Pro Wrestling Observer and other places, or Wrestling Observer rather, and Pro Wrestling Observer, that like this was all done spur of the moment, and shoved into people's mouths. That is why people are upset, and rightly so. The fans who love the WWE love it because they enjoy the drama and the soap opera. When you throw in a twist out of the blue, people get super fucking upset. And that's what it is. People get super fucking upset when you throw in a twist out of the blue that makes no sense. And that's what's going on here. And if you're doing it not for the right reasons, which is like, we think this is the better story to tell. We think, you know what, the Cody Roman Reigns thing isn't really catching on with fans, isn't really doing well. We're getting negative feedback about this situation, about them having a rematch at WrestleMania, predominantly negative feedback. We're going to course correct here, and we're going to put The Rock in this position because we think it's better for the company. We think it's better for the WWE universe overall, the fans, right? That's not what's happening here. What's happening here is, and I've met The Rock. I've interviewed The Rock twice. He is one of the nicest dudes you're ever going to meet when you work with him. He's not on time, because certainly I had to wait twice in my junket interviews for over 2 hours one time to get to a position to interview him. But he gives you everything he's got when you talk to him. And I will never say anything negative about that's those situations. He even cut a promo for me for the Schmodown one time on Riley and Murrow when we were doing the triple threat match, which I thought was a lot of fun. He's a great dude in that way. But what we've been seeing lately, what we're picking up on with the situation with Black Adam, you know, how he wanted to make Black Adam the hero and not Shazam and go backwards into that story. What we've heard lately about certain things going on behind the scenes, how he's still pushing this narrative that it wasn't that Black Adam was a bad movie. It was that other people had agendas and all this other stuff. He's still pushing he won't accept the losses, right? He won't accept, hey, you know what? We didn't put out a good movie. We have to take a look at it and see, and we'll, you know, we'll work harder next time to put out a better film. And look, people aren't going to his movies at the same rate that they did anymore. Young Rock was recently canceled. I think it was down like 35% views in the 4th season. So it's a shame. You know, the fact that it even went 3 seasons is a miracle, but a lot of people, a lot of wrestling people will tell you it was a terrible show, and they didn't like the way some of these wrestlers were portrayed in the show, and thought it was a bit cosplay rather than actual embodiment of those wrestlers, kind of like what we saw with some of the Freebirds in Iron Claw versus the guy who did Ric Flair, who was terrible, while the guy who did Harley Race was great. So you see the differences. And so those kinds of situations here, you're seeing the XFL had to merge just to stay alive. So you're seeing these situations here. And yes, he's a massive superstar. No one will ever say he isn't. He's a massive superstar. But the superstar, the shine of the star is waning a little bit. And so he goes back to do this. Like, it's like you know how you see those people who do rock albums and they're successful in the world of pop and rock, and all of a sudden no one's buying their albums at the same level as before, and they either become an American Idol judge, or they go, or the Voice judge, or they go and all of a sudden discover that they love country and can sing country, right? You're seeing Colby Calais do that now. No one was buying her stuff anymore, so she went the country route to explore something new. I'm not saying it's inauthentic. I'm saying I've seen it happen multiple times. It's the pattern. And the same thing here. You see The Rock going to SmackDown, going back to wrestling, and he immediately inserts himself into the main event with there's been no vignettes and no scenes where The Rock is like watching Roman do something where he's cheating or doing something wrong, and The Rock's like, oh, man. No, I've got to talk to him. And Roman is like hanging up the phone and won't come to the phone or ignores him. Or, you know, there are things you could have built up, right? Where The Rock is even talking to Rikishi. Hey, what's going on with your sons? What's the deal? So you could have spent time building up this program. They're going to try to shove in a bunch of stuff over the next few weeks, but it's not going to take. And here's the worst thing I've heard from the recent conversation, or worst thing I've seen, rather, not heard, seen. I see a lot of these pundits, and I even see WWE a little bit doing this leading into this. They are trying to claim now, because they're getting their asses handed to them all over the place, that this is all a work and they've got a bigger plan in place, and this was all their intention. The cerebral assassin is at it again, and he's playing you guys for suckers. Look, no one's going to confuse Mensa members for members of the WWE. Let's be fucking clear, okay? This is not some long, thought-out plan to fuck with the audience and then lure them back in. Any business person worth their salt will tell you the last thing you want to do is have a reaction like this. That's the last thing you want to do in a situation. And look, the WrestleMania tickets are sold, okay? Those are sold. They're sold out already. People have bought the event, right? They bought the event. What they did by putting Rock in this position was trying to cover up for those shit with Vince McMahon and the WWE, which I think is shameful. They should have absolutely just said, look, this is a terrible thing. We're going to do some self-analysis. We're going to take a look at ourselves as a company. We're going to root out the people who are involved in this, and we're going to take a little bit of time, really focus on that. They could have done that, which is the more logical, humane, understanding route. Instead, they're like, no. We're going to try to, blur your vision about the horrible shit that we allowed to happen under the auspices of this company. And hey, TKO Endeavor, we bought this company, so how do we save it? Right? This is what they're doing. And the second thing is they want to get the attention of casual fans onto WrestleMania who might be turned off by the Vince McMahon stuff. Hell, I'm a massive fan, and I almost didn't do my watch along to Royal Rumble because those allegations broke the week of the Royal Rumble. I did it in the end because I wanted to care about the wrestlers and give them attention, and that's who I care about. But like this stuff, you see, this is a bit dirty. I'll be honest with you. It feels dirty because they're doing it so they don't have to have a comeuppance. They're doing it so they don't have to have a come to Jesus moment. They're doing it so they can make the most amount of money out of the situation. That's what they're doing. And so they put The Rock in this position. And look, The Rock was recently named a director of TKO. And I don't know if you guys saw the picture I put up, but he was there at Wall Street with Vince McMahon just days ago, and Ari Emanuel and Nick Khan, all there ringing the bell with all that stuff. So, it isn't like he isn't connected to Vince. Vince gave him a shot. Vince is very connected to the Rock's family. You can just watch Young Rock, or you can read any thing on any piece on them. You can watch any documentary on them. The Rock is very connected to the WWE and Vince McMahon. And that's what you have here in this situation. And so to me, you're bringing in someone off the bench who's not even a part-timer. He's a parachute timer, which is in is out. And you're going to give him this shine in this situation over someone like Cody Rhodes, who is not drenched in the stench of Vince McMahon. Cody left Vince McMahon, left the WWE because he was insulted by how they were treating him, insulted by what they were doing with his character because he knew he deserved better. Went and started AEW with the Young Bucks, built that thing up to what it was with Tony Khan. And then when they were done with his services, he left to the WWE and became even bigger than he had ever been before in AEW or WWE combined. He fought through a torn pec with Seth Rollins to put over that match. He fought through so many things. He accepted the loss to Roman Reigns piece by piece. He went through these useless feuds with Brock Lesnar, useless feuds with other people here leading up to this moment. And then he has to step down. And that's another part of this situation that I think people don't get, or people don't really feel. Wrestling fans are salt of the earth people. Yeah, they're crazy. Yeah, they're fanatics or whatever you want to say. Sure. But they're salt of the earth people. They're people who come from blue collar working class backgrounds. This isn't a tennis fucking crowd. This isn't even a pickleball crowd. These are people who are working paycheck to paycheck, proud of being hardworking Americans or hardworking people in other areas of the world. And they love the WWE because it's a great soap opera. It's a distraction. It appeals to some of the guys from the male point of view, and it's appealing to women more and more because of what a lot of these female wrestlers symbolize now. These are women who are in fantastic shape and can go hang with the boys and can wrestle and go toe-to-toe with anybody else and be the leading product in a premium live event, be the match that everyone's talking about in a premium live event, like we saw with Becky and Mercedes Moné, now but Sasha Banks back at NXT Brooklyn, or when we saw Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair last year. These are the matches people are talking about. So it's across the board, and then you get multiple generations. So the idea that a hardworking blue-collar boy, the son of a plumber, can get fucked over like this is beyond the whole, like, this is hard times. This is hard times. This is hard times. Bull fucking shit. This is not hard times, because hard times was part of the program. Hard times was part of what was scheduled into the program. Okay. This is not hard times. This is shit that was shoved in at the last minute that had nothing to do with the overall program. There's a difference. There's a difference in constructing a story. Hard times make sense because you're building to something. This is done because a company wants to save its ass and doesn't believe in Cody Rhodes being the face to save its ass. Doesn't want to take a chance on Cody Rhodes saving its ass. And what happened last night at the house show? I don't know if you guys saw this. At a house show, Shinsuke Nakamura attacked Cody. So we're going to keep that fucking feud going, which means nothing, which is a mid-Carter feud, for God's sakes. And that's what they're going to do to Cody. So to me, I mean, look, there's a lot of ways you can read this. I want to believe that Cody Rhodes is a Triple H guy because he spoke so highly of him. But I mean, who keeps fucking him over? Who's in charge and keeps fucking him over? Whose throne did he take a sledgehammer to when he walked out to his first AEW pay-per-view? Trips. Who's known for holding a grudge on people? Trips. So there you can make an educated opinion out of this, looking at all the information, and think that this is a personal thing by someone in charge of the WWE, which we've seen multiple times. Vince McMahon putting Dusty in polka dots and Bruce Pritchard, that moron, being okay with it. So you see these things happening in the WWE, and it is frustrating to see them happening all over again to someone like Cody. People, as I said, the blue-collar fans, which a lot of the WWE is, they connect to someone like Cody. They connect and care about someone like Cody. Cody won them over. It was too early for him to win last year, which is why so many people cheered for Roman to beat him. It was too early. You just got to the company. You don't deserve the shine. Now that you've put in the time and you've shown that you give to the company from your body with a torn pec, you work your way back through physical therapy, you take the bullshit programs and you try to make them work, and you deliver good matches. Now you've earned our love and our trust and our affection. Now we're ready to go with you. Now we want you to win this in Philadelphia, the city of freedom. We want you to go and break the chains that your family has been under thanks to Vince McMahon's control. We want you to do and stand out and step up and be praised and take that belt from Roman Reigns. And they delivered a hell of a match last year. A hell of a match last year. And I'm telling you right now, the sequel would have been even more incredible to see in WrestleMania. Okay. I am 40 minutes in. I can't believe I'm talking straight for 40 minutes. That's insane, but that's how I feel about the situation. I wanted to go live because I had things to say about the situation. And I know some of you agree with me, some of you don't, but I have a very, it just feels bad. As someone who's watched wrestling since I was fucking 10 years old, I've seen the good, I've seen the bad. And I've seen, we've seen stuff like Daniel Bryan, where Daniel Bryan was getting fucked over for Dave Bautista coming back, and the fans turned on the product and forced them to give Daniel Bryan the win. And don't believe anybody who tells you that was the plan all along. They're lying through their fucking teeth, okay? It's the same thing here. This was never the plan. They shoved all of this in to save their bacon from the Vince McMahon situation, which if I ran a news organization and I was a WWE fan and I saw this happen, I would have all my reporters coming after the WWE about this situation. I would have them all writing exposés, investigative pieces, getting interviews with former WWE stars who are willing to talk about the environment, the culture there, the toxicity there. I would do a full court press to try to get them away from this idea that they think they can fool the fans, which I think is insulting, right? It's something out of the MAGA playbook, is they lie and throw disinformation and try to mess with people's heads and feed them bullshit so that they believe it rather than believing their own eyes, rather than actually accepting what's really happening right in front of their faces. And in a way, that's what they're doing here. And it breaks my heart that The Rock's involved in this. And, from the reports is that Rock made this happen. He wanted to be the star. He wanted to be the main event guy. He wanted to come back and be it. And yes, I don't know. There are those people who think, well, what I'm doing is best for the company. It helps the company. But it also kind of helps you too. So where's the line here that it's really not about servicing your ego and it's about helping the company? I don't know. I don't know. I'm really at a loss for words on this, on that particular thing. Clearly, I'm not at a loss for words as I've been talking for 43 minutes. I just mean, like, in that situation, I don't know, because I really love The Rock. I'm a massive fan of The Rock. A stan of The Rock. I mean, I watched every fucking film of his that came out, every vehicle, good, bad, or ugly. I still go and see The Rock movies and all of that. But this is tough to accept. This is tough to see the logic. And in no way is this some kind of work and they're already powwowing about what they're going to do. I saw The Rock re-edited one of his tweets because they were tearing him apart in the tweets, in the Instagram. Now they're leaning into it, right? The Rock's posting stuff. They're leaning into it and they're showing you, and he's like, okay, I can do this. And talking about how his, the reaction is undeniable. He's trying to defend what he did, saying the reaction from like 10,000 people is undeniable versus the hordes, the thousands and thousands on social media, possibly millions on social media. There are hundreds of thousands of people who disliked the video on YouTube. Hundreds of thousands. So if you want to hold on to the 10,000 people who are caught up in the glamour of you showing up over the hundreds of thousands, and dare I say it, the millions and millions of WWE fans who are not happy about this, then you go ahead and hold on to whatever rationalization you need to hold on to, but it ain't the fucking truth. It ain't the fucking truth. And I don't care how many of these reality people come out and defend it or go on the Rock side. I mean, it ain't the fucking truth. Let me just tell you that right now. Whew. And if you watch the reaction when The Rock came out, I know people are saying it was a massive pop. Yes, people cheered, but I, as a seasoned watcher of the WWE, I could hear that there were people who weren't 100% happy. It is not the biggest pop he's ever gotten when he's come back. That was when they announced him to host WrestleMania. That was a pop that shattered glass. This pop was a strong pop, but it was not the pop that I've heard before for The Rock. So I think people even in the arena, I think people were like, wait a fucking minute. So whatever they try to tell you, the pop wasn't as big as I've seen the pop be before. And that tells me something, It's kind of like the pop I saw people comparing this. I saw Sean Ross Sapp, they were at Fightful, compare what The Rock is doing to Cody in the same vein as what Hogan did to Bret Hart at that WrestleMania 9 in Vegas. Right. And that's the same situation. When Hogan came out to help Bret, there was an initial cheering because he's helping Bret. But when Hogan went into the match, because Bret told him to take a spot, essentially what Cody's doing here for The Rock, doing the business there. And Bret didn't want to do it. And I'm sure Cody didn't want to do this. The crowd react differently. The crowd is not as invested. No matter how many arms you see go up, it's not as many arms as were up when the Hogan first came out, when you watch that match. So it's just different in how you approach it. And yeah, other people will be like, oh, you're crazy. No, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're seeing. Blah, blah, blah. Fine. Whatever you want to say. I know what my truth is, and I believe it's the truth. And so that's what I see when I look at this situation. Oh, all right. So let's hit some of these Streamlabs or Superchats have come through. I don't know if any Streamlabs have come through. I didn't pin it in the chat. So maybe people aren't sending Streamlabs in, but they're sending in Superchats. Okay, I've got a few of these. Okay, let's hit these real quick. And we'll keep going with this. We're not done with this by a sight. Empire Fan says, if Roman versus Cody match at WrestleMania happens, I was going to turn it off. I have no interest in Roman versus Cody match, but I'm excited for a Roman versus Rock. Well, you got to explain yourself, Empire Fan. Then you don't really care about story, and you don't really care about build-up, and you don't really care about laying the groundwork for why this match has to happen and taking time to lay the groundwork, because the greatest stories have great groundwork laid, so you lead to the final confrontation. You lead to the match. So clearly, that's not something that you are 100% down with. And guess what? That's okay. That's your right to enjoy the show and watch the show. That's the thing. I may be bitching about this for 45 minutes, but if you want to enjoy the match, knock yourself out. I mean, if that match even happens, who knows how they're going to course correct, if they're going to course correct. If that match even happens, then knock yourself out. You got a right to enjoy that match. I'm not going to tell you not to enjoy that match. And I've got a right to tell you I'm not going to enjoy the match. Stellar Justin Lopez. What's up, Stellar? Says, for 2 years, we've heard Cody talk about finishing the story, which the WWE absolutely underlined and bolded and pushed forward and got behind and took advantage of. So they can't claim like, well, he finishes the story wherever he finishes. Bull fucking shit. It was always about WrestleMania. What changed from Rumble to where he points at the WrestleMania sign, and Roman to willingly giving up his WrestleMania spot? Booking makes 0 sense. Exactly. The booking makes 0 sense. It was clear he was going to WrestleMania. He pointed at the sign just like a good WWE soldier should when they win a Royal Rumble. Pointed at the WrestleMania sign. Then just a few days later, he's like, you know what? I'll take your title someplace else. I'll take everything from you at another time in another situation. So nonsense. Utter nonsense. Here's what changed the Vince McMahon shit blew up. They got fucking scared, TKO and over, and Netflix. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. Like, there's a lot of forces involved in this. Big forces. A lot of people are afraid of R.A. Emanuel in Hollywood. Endeavor is a big agency. TKO is massive now with this merger with the WWE and UFC, the WWE and UFC. And then you throw Netflix into the deal, who's now the number one streamer, and they're massive and huge, and they've got Raw next year. The last thing they want to do is buy a product and buy a fish or catch a fish, and it becomes a dead fish by the time January comes around, and they can't eat it, and it's useless. So a lot of powerful forces are invested and have connections in the press to make this happen, to promote this kind of stuff. So be aware of that, because that's absolutely what's going to happen. That's absolutely once this wears off over the next few days, there's going to be a full court press by a number of writers who are involved with TKO and Endeavor, want to keep their contacts there, like having their contacts there, like the perks they get for having contacts there. There are a number of people who are reporters who are favorable to Netflix, who will gladly do their bidding for exchange for access, and will write all these positive things about this possibility, talk about all the numbers here that promote, support what they're doing, and all this kind of stuff. So, keep looking for that. Sean Brandon, what's up, Sean? Sean says, let me get this a little bit smaller, so I'm not always turning away from the camera. Sean says, doesn't the injury to CM Punk have something to do with this too? I hate it too, but now Cody can fight Rollins and then end the bloodline story with Roman. Love you, brother. Keep fighting. Yes, the CM Punk injury absolutely has something to do with this, because the plan was Punk versus Rollins and Cody versus Roman. Sure, but you can make different adjustments in this situation with Cody and I don't know if it's going to be Cody and Rollins. And if it is going to be Cody and Rollins, that means Cody wins the belt off Seth, who just has been carrying the belt for how many months? And is Seth going to come back in good shape? And what was the Gunther segment about with Seth if they're not going to go down that road? So do you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of kind of moving pieces, and I get it. The Punk injury is an element of this, but there's a better way you could have booked this shit rather than Cody and The Rock, right? I mean, there is the better way to book this, and the only way to book this was to make The Rock a heel. That's the only way to book this. Hollywood Rock. I mean, people already hate him for the Black Adam stuff and other things. So you got to lean in. What's the great thing WWE does when they find the right situation? They lean into things about a person, right? Like with Miz, they knew people would hate Miz. They would see him as a privileged guy who was in a reality show, not a real wrestler. And so they took advantage of that to add that as an element to his character, and people loved it. With The Rock, him parachuting in for his own ego, that would have been the way to go. Him coming in and possibly pulling a Tanya Harding on Cody, where Cody gets injured. You don't know why he's there. Or even worse, The Rock accidentally helps Roman beat Cody at Elimination Chamber, or has Cody lose the match in some way, or gets himself to become the referee of the match between Roman and Cody. And then he turns on Cody. Like, no one takes the title off the family. Yeah, it would have sucked that Cody would have lost again, but you would have understood it much more than this. Much more than this. So yes, the injury to Punk has something to do with this, but there was a better way to book this situation than how they did it, right? I mean, it's just like a movie or a TV show. If an actor gets injured, you have to write around the storylines and see if you can make it work. And that's what you've got to do. And I think they made a horrible mistake. And it does. Look, again, I love The Rock. I respect The Rock. It's tough for me to say these things, but you can't discount The Rock's ego. And there is a very strong ego with The Rock. He believes in himself and it's why he's achieved the things he's achieved. And this idea that he only had $7 in his pocket, it's a nice narrative. I don't think it's 100% the truth, but it's a nice narrative to have. It gets people on your side, turns you into an underdog. It's a great, perfect vehicle. I've actually had only $7 in my pocket in my life at one time, for real. And my dad wasn't a famous wrestler. I didn't have a massive family to go back to in Hawaii who could take care of me. And I didn't have any of that. I had a strong family, but I didn't have this massive family to take care of me. So there's differences in how you approach these stories. And I try to tell you all on the Nation or the Outlaw Nation, any of the shows I do here, don't believe everything you're spoon fed in these magazines, in these on these websites, in these interviews. A lot of this stuff is PR fabricated bullshit. Okay, you've got to do your own research. Don't just accept this stuff. Do your own research, explore it, use your own eyes, do your own critical thinking in this situation. Hot Mic is all about that. We break stuff down. We try to look at what might actually be happening here versus the rose-colored approach to the whole thing. So that's what I would say with that. But thanks, Sean, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Empire Fan says, I still hate Cody with a passion, but he earned my respect for stepping aside for the match we've been wanting for 3+ years now. Who has been wanting this match for 3+ years now? I would love to. I don't know anybody, and I know a lot of wrestling fans, who was clamoring for an older, broken down Rock versus Roman Reigns, a guy in his prime. I don't know anybody who was clamoring for that. Honestly, this is not Hogan versus The Rock. It's nowhere near the same thing. Remember, The Rock only wrestled in WWE for 6 years. 6 years. 6. Okay. Hogan was around for decades, came back multiple times, went to another federation and blew that federation up as the NWO. Hogan is a lifer, son. A lifer. Decades of legacy versus the young lion in The Rock. That was awesome. This is something different. It's not the same thing. So, yeah, I guess you earned your respect for stepping aside. That's fine. Yes, boy says, pretty sure Rock whispered to Cody what Christian Cage told Adam Copeland when they hugged. Go fuck yourself. I'd be sad too, Cody. Yeah, I mean, he held him there for a while. And that to me was The Rock maybe like, hey, I know this is tough for you. Thanks for doing it. Why bring the backyard business onto in front of the television if it doesn't help you look like some kind of hero? That you're saying thank you to Cody for stepping aside. Thank you for doing the business, blah, blah, blah. It's about helping you in that moment. So, a more cynical person could look at this and be like, this is very clearly all about The Rock's ego. I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to go down that road because I respect him and like him too much. I want to believe this is a well-intended mistake, but we'll see as more evidence comes to light. And certainly people are talking. I mean, the Wrestling Observer, Pro Wrestling Observer, and Pro Wrestling Illustrated, a lot of these websites are getting access to people who've got loose lips, and we're hearing some stuff. So we'll see. Tim Sim says, it certainly feels like deja vu since we got screwed from a Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey WrestleMania match with Charlotte. And how do you see the situation panning out, especially with the backlash they received? Yeah, I don't know how the situation is going to pan out, to be honest with you, because they're already trying to backtrack it by saying like, oh, it's a work, or there's a longer story to tell here. Be patient, everybody. We're going to tell something else. The only way this works is if Cody takes it back. And the only way this works is if Cody sees Roman and Roman and Rock planning the finger poke of doom at WrestleMania. That's the only way this works. And then Cody says, no, I'm not going to let this pass. I am now cashing in my opportunity to take on Reigns at WrestleMania. I think that's the way back from all of this, or The Rock willingly stepping back. I mean, that would be shocking because apparently I think they paid him $30 million now to go and be a part of this, which I'm sure The Rock will use for, charities and organizations he's a part of. It's whatever your feelings are. If you think The Rock's an egotistical person or whatever, or selfish or whatever, he's also a person who gives a lot to charity, helps a lot in altruistic causes. And I think that's important to factor into all of this. So if he does do that for the money, great. You can do that and put it in certain places and what have you. But to me, I think this is the only way out. I think this is one of the ways out is that Rock says, you know what? I'm the people's champ. And as the people's champ, I know what it's like when I see another people's champ. And I clearly made a mistake. It's your time now. Roman and I will settle our business afterwards. You go and get that belt from him, and I'll take everything else that's left, which is the love of his family and the head of the table. That's how this goes down. And if they had done the buildup correctly for Roman and Rock, we'd have had the bloodline much more involved with The Rock. Rikishi would have been involved. Nia Jax, Rock's daughter, who's in the WWE, I think in NXT. Tamina, like all these people would have been involved. So you could have done a number of vignettes to lead you to Rock versus Roman. So yes, Empire Fan 1980, you're going to get the match you want, but it's not going to have any of the fucking buildup. It's not going to have any of the nuance. It's not going to have any of the real depth and complexity that great matches bring you. You know, great matches bring you. And I think that's the shame of it all, because if you don't have the right buildup, it's just a match. It's just a match, you know, and if The Rock beats Roman to be the champion again, is that what you want? Really? And if Roman beats The Rock, is that what you want? Really? So to me, at the end of the day, it's fine that you want the match. It just makes no goddamn sense. Tim Sim also says, and how will pro wrestling history look down on this situation, its impact? Well, I mean, it's tough to say, dude, because like so many people go through these moments and so many people make mistakes and make fuck ups, and pro wrestling is full of fuck ups. And so maybe this is just another big fuck up that's a noted fuck up, like you know, Austin leaving with the belt and not wanting to give it up, or Shawn Michaels leaving with the belt and not wanting to give it up. And so they have to create an interim belt, and then they have to have Shawn face Razor Ramon and all of that. So egos in the world of pro wrestling is not unheard of. I don't think I'm saying anything groundbreaking there. So the idea of the impact of it, I think we can't possibly quantify it at this point because it's still too early, and we don't know what's going to happen over the next few weeks or what's going to happen at Elimination Chamber and at WrestleMania. So Christian Jacobs says fans shouldn't care about what makes the most money. We want the better match, not the bigger match. Cody is the face of wrestling. Give him his moment. Yeah, I mean, we want Cody is trending all over Twitter. And I'm going to take a break after these Streamlabs and Super Chats, and we're going to look at some of these tweets from people and what have you. So yeah, it's all over Twitter. J-Dog says the story is finished. Feel awful for Cody. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It feels like that, Jay, doesn't it? Although the pushback may cause some changes. We'll see. Jay Blink says, no story build up to Rock versus Roman. Sounds like any Dwayne Johnson movie. Come on, man. Dwayne's done some good movies. Don't do that. Don't do that. I do not co-sign that super chat, but I appreciate it. Thank you, Jay. Tim Sims says, so yeah, remember when I said in one of your live streams 2 years ago when Cody returned to WWE that my fear is that they'll screw his booking up like WWE usually does? I hate being proven right. Hey, it's a good point, Tim. Absolutely. They've screwed up his booking a number of times since he's come back. I mean, what the fuck was that Brock Lesnar program for? Or what he's doing now with Shinsuke? You know, it's just none of that makes any sense at all. And that's another element of this that people are upset about. It makes me think of this, what you mentioned here, Tim, because John Cena has come back and he has put people, younger wrestlers over. Look, Cena's no angel. Don't get it twisted. Go do research on the Cena Alex Riley situation. Cena's no angel. He's buried a few wrestlers himself. Yes, he's elevated some, but he's buried a few in his desire to be the guy and Vince's desire for him to be the guy so that he can keep making money off of him. So, I mean, Cena's he's not clean in all of this situation. But certainly recently when he's come back, he's taken the L's. And yeah, he's not delivering the greatest of matches, but he's taking the L's. He's putting the young guys over. The Rock's ego won't let him do that. Dwayne Johnson's ego won't let him do that. Won't let him do that. So it's a different approach to this whole situation, you know. And again, you cannot remove the fact that The Rock only wrestled 6 years. Yes, his legacy. Yes, his dad, his grandfather, and all of that. But he only wrestled 6 years in WWE. He does love the WWE, obviously worships the business, enjoys the business, and what have you. But if he was a lifer, he'd have stayed in the business wrestling for years and years and years and years. But he's not. So it's a difference, in my opinion. Rob McDonald says, I don't think this was Trips' idea. He booked Cody to win the Rumble and point at Roman. This feels like a reaction to Punk injury and TKO/Rock politicking. You might be right. You might be right, Rob. You might be right. And maybe someday when Triple H writes a book, before he shuffles off this mortal coil, he'll tell us the truth about what happened behind the scenes in a number of situations. Because people love that Trips tells the truth in these interviews, but doesn't tell the full truth, does he? You know, he's hiding some locations of where these bodies are buried. Derek Johnson, what's up, Derek? Says 100% agree. There was no lead up, teases, no tension with the family, not even a jealousy angle. Where's the drama? Why not let Cody take the belt at WrestleMania? Then Roman goes crazy on the family and Rock steps in. Yes, Derek, that's great. That's another angle you could have gone. Roman gets so upset after losing the belt, goes after the entire family, destroys the Usos all over again, absolutely beheads, figuratively, Solo Sikoa with his own Samoan spike, and even kicks out Paul Heyman, and just goes crazy, attacks Rikishi, maybe even attacks Nia or Tamina. Like, there's so much you could have played with here, and The Rock has to step in. And then you have The Rock versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. That makes all the sense in the world. Once he's lost his belt, he is a maniac. He is an unhinged, sociopathic monster destroying his family because they didn't interfere at the right time, that for once they weren't able to help him retain the belt. So he blames all of them instead of blaming himself. And The Rock finally has to step in. The Rock finally sees what Roman has wrought on his family. The body's laying on the ground, sees all of this and decides, okay, I'm coming out of retirement and I'm going to face you. And that's the buildup. And then SummerSlam is massive. But why isn't it happening? Because The Rock needs to be the lead guy at WrestleMania, not SummerSlam. Why? Because WrestleMania is the premier live event of the WWE. So finishing the story at WrestleMania does fucking matter. Yes, boy says, Elimination Chamber start time is at 2 a.m. PST. Would Rock really show up? Roca watch live? No, man, I don't think I can do a watch along at 2 a.m. First of all, I have neighbors, and although we live in a house, I still have neighbors who are just a few feet away from me in their house. And I would hate to wake them up with my reactions and my loudness. And to be honest with you, my watch along Royal Rumble barely broke. I don't even think it broke 3,000 views. So it doesn't make sense to do a show for 4 hours and not have it break any records, not have it break like 5,000 or 10,000. It doesn't make any sense on the channel. What I will do, though, is watch the Elimination Chamber that morning immediately and then do maybe a live show talking about the results and what happened. So that I'll probably do, but not a 2 a.m. watch along. Empire Fan 1980 says, have you seen videos on WWE 2K24? I'm very excited. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them. They look really, really good. I enjoy 2K23. So as I said, I have my Twitch, the Outlaw Nation on Twitch. I will be putting up my second monitor and putting up the PS5 so I can play there, and you guys can play along with me for sure. 315 of you joining us live. Thank you so much. Please make sure you hit a like on the video. Share it on your social media later if you wouldn't mind. Leave a comment down below if you're watching after we've gone live. Send in your Streamlabs and Super Chats as we're going along. Oh, I haven't even pinned it, did I? I didn't even pin it in the chat. That's on me, y'all. I don't know if it would have mattered, but I certainly should have pinned it in the chat. Where's my thing here? Hold on. All right. My apologies, gang. I didn't pin it in the chat. And look at this. I'm going. How long have I been talking for? 50 minutes now? How long have I been talking straight for? A friend of mine pulled me aside. He goes, I don't know how the hell you can just talk for like an hour. I go insane. I lose my breath. And I just said, hey, man, I love hanging with the people. I did it for the right. No, I just love hanging with the people. And I'm always appreciative that you all hang out with me live because I like to talk live. Christian asks me that all the time. He's like, why do you go live so much? I know the algorithm likes it, but why do you do it? And I just said, because I enjoy it. It's fun for me. And I like talking with people and they're hearing from you all and your feelings. So again, I pinned it in the chat there. We do have a couple of Streamlabs from Justin Toner. Justin, good to see you, brother. He says, hi, John. I understand wanting Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. It's a dream match. But the fact that Cody was fucked over and pushed aside for this after winning the Rumble because The Rock wanted it is terrible. He pulled the Hulk Hogan move. I lost so much respect for him. The online backlash has been louder than I expected. The hashtag We Want Cody has been trending since yesterday. There is video showing the fans at a live event booing The Rock when the footage from SmackDown was replayed. Will it be loud enough to make a change? We shall see. Yeah, good point, Justin. I saw that video too. It wasn't booed as loudly as it was presented as, but certainly there were boos when The Rock showed up in that video package there the next night at a house show. And I agree with you. And as I was saying a few minutes ago, Cody represents the blue collar stuff. And so people at their blue collar jobs are fucked over by other people all the time. People who come in who are the boss's son or a member of the family or nepotism, they get somehow they lose their promotion because they have to promote someone connected to them more. They play favorites, and we've all experienced that. Fuck, have we all experienced that? People playing favorites, our bosses playing favorites, choosing one person over the other because they think they have a strong connection with the other person, or they think that other person's going to make them more money, or whatever reasons, right? And so what you did here with Cody is you did the exact same thing in a way, and you insulted the blue collar fans. But this isn't hard times. No matter how much these supposedly smart wrestling pundits try to tell you this is hard times, it is not fucking hard times, because it was not in the program from the beginning for this to happen. Hard times was in the program from the beginning for this to happen. Okay. There's a difference in all of this situation. So that's what I think people need to factor in when they try to compare it to Dusty's situation with the Horsemen. It was not the same thing. Jay Blink says Roman versus Rocks equals Superman versus Black Adam. Cody versus Roman equals Shazam versus Black Adam. Come on. Oh, man. Yeah, I guess. Oh, man. I'm taking a drink here. Yeah, I was too fired up to remember to pin it. Yeah, absolutely. That's what happened, Planet. You're 100% right, brother. I wanted to get out what I wanted to get out, and we've gone over an hour. Empire fans says, I will admit, John, you're probably right about Cody's situation, but my hatred for Cody is blinding me, and I just didn't want Cody to main event WrestleMania. That's fine, Empire. Hey, look, you have a right to feel that way. There are people who don't want Roman Reigns to main event WrestleMania. Opinions are okay. I love opinions. I'm a big fan of opinions. But just be okay with me expressing mine. And so I will never tell you not to feel how you legitimately feel about a situation. But I will try to offer different points of views, and maybe you'll see or have more perspective on it. And either that'll reinforce your opinion or possibly give you other things to consider so you have a more well-rounded opinion. That's kind of like my approach in all of this. So CJ Robbins says, what up, Rocha? Long time. This is some crazy shit. Seeing Rock throw his weight around in a repeat of history. Cody earned his shit. I agree with that. Cody did absolutely earn his shit for sure. Are the Grammys tonight? Guys, I'm sorry. I didn't know I'm keeping you from stuff. I know there's a premium live event for NXT. I don't know what the situation is with the Grammys. I don't watch the Grammys anymore. So, all right, let's see. Let me take a quick break, guys. I got to drink some water, drink some stuff. And I'll be right back right after this. I'm going to dive into Twitter and take a look at some of these reactions from people and have some fun seeing their memes and whatever right after this. All right, let's get into it. Let me bring up Twitter, and I'm going to bring up, I'm never going to call it X, just so we're clear. The Rock, Cody, The Rock, Cody, or The Rock Roman. I said The Rock, Cody Rhodes, I guess. It could bring up some stuff. And we can take a look at some of these things. So let's just start going down. Let's just start, like we're hanging out, and I'm running the feed here on our shared Instagram, or shared on Twitter. The Rock replacing Cody Rhodes WrestleMania event versus Roman has made the hashtag We Want Cody the #1 trend on Twitter. The way WWE went about booking the match, however, appears to be an abject failure in every sense, per the Bleacher Report's Tyler Conway. And Seth Jones says, I will admit, I wanted The Rock versus Roman's last year. Now it's just bad timing when Cody Rhodes over here trying to finish the story. Absolutely. WrestleOps says WWE absolutely monitoring the responses surrounding Roman Reigns, The Rock, and Cody Rhodes. Yeah, here's Phil Ouimet saying clearly you can from outside the brand, you can clearly see Cody Rhodes losing all emotion and feeling. Cody Rhodes looks demoralized. He knew from the moment he and The Rock hugged that he was getting screwed over once again for the second year in a row. What a fucking fumble. This is just as bad as Goldberg defeating Bray Wyatt in Saudi Arabia. Oh, yeah, that was terrible. That was fucking. Oh, this is hilarious. Although in a bad way. Cody Rhodes getting the message that The Rock was facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. For those you don't know, that is a famous, I think, ranchero singer who was told by the cartel to stop singing. He didn't, and he was killed, I believe. I don't know who killed him. I'm not going to speculate because I don't want any trouble. And TMZ is covering this. TMZ is covering. See, the reason The Rock was brought back, they said, was to get attention for. Oh, wait, let me give myself a little bit bigger here. I forget that sometimes I'm. Is it? No, sorry. There we go. Let me do this. Sometimes I forget that the reason. Oh, let me take down this too. Sometimes you forget that the reason The Rock. Or they said the reason The Rock was brought back is to get mainstream eyes on their product, get people excited about their product. But that would imply, but look at all the negative reactions here that you're seeing from a number of people. The Rock checking in on Cody Rhodes after that segment on SmackDown. And I saw the professors, Professor Nick Harrison, who I respect and I enjoy seeing his reactions. I couldn't disagree with the professor more. I couldn't disagree with the professor. As a professor myself, I could not disagree with the professor of the Outlaw Nation University. I could not disagree with him more, but he made some good points. He's got a right to his opinion, but in no way can you tell me the buildup is there, because it isn't. And don't tell me 2.5 months or a month and a half of buildup is going to match what would have happened over a 6-month or 12-month buildup or 24-month buildup, for God's sake. So this is the frustrating part when you look at all this. Sports Kita says the WWE creative team member said to be disappointed with The Rock taking Cody Rhodes' spot. So this is where this comes down to, and it's really frustrating because you got a situation here where The Rock, who has just been made one of the board of directors at TKO, did he throw his weight around? Did he feel like, well, I got to be back out into the public. I need people to love me again. My brand is suffering. Maybe I'll go be the main event at WrestleMania. I'll go to the place where I know people love me, and that's WrestleMania. If I go and be the main event at WrestleMania, people will like me again. People will remember why they like me again. They'll want to watch my movies again. I can wash the stink of Black Adam off of me, even though I won't accept responsibility for it, and I can go and do something else. And if that's what happened here, using an entire company to wash your ego and brand, I think is fucking terrible, man. I really do. And again, I love and respect the man, but you got to call a situation as you see it. And that's how I see it when you look at this, everyone's like, just let it play out. What play out? What? Weeks? It's not going to be enough. And we'll see what happens at this kickoff event. And Thursday is supposed to happen live in Las Vegas. And I bet they're going to make sure that these people don't ask certain questions, or if they do, they're going to have certain plants in there who are going to ask certain questions, possibly in exchange for access or interviews or what have you. So I wonder if that's a possibility. Watch that face. Look, he's like, sure. Yeah, whatever you say, Rockets. Yep. Take it away. All right. See you, man. And you see that he is not happy about it. They took out the shot of him walking. Now they re-uploaded the video. They took the shot of him walking, looking not happy about it. Like, let's watch this because I didn't know about this, and I hope I can watch this without any kind of copyright issues. I know there was a Logan Paul situation here, so let's watch this together. I think I can do the sound on.
I loved Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Mm-hmm. I was scared to meet him. Great guy in real life, sweetheart. Gave me the time of day. Had a nice conversation. It was awesome. Made like 3 or 4 videos on separate occasions that all went like crazy viral. I would consider him like definitely like an acquaintance, like very friendly with each other. Like me and Dwayne, what's up? After Japan happened, found myself in a hole, rightfully so, extremely low mentally. And I got a call from my publicist. She's like, hey, Dwayne has asked that you remove every picture and video that you've done with him. He basically wants nothing to do with you. I made a grotesque error, but I just wish I would have gotten like a call or a text or something. I thought we had a healthy relationship, an open line of communication. And I was so sad. My hero wanted nothing to do with me. I vowed to get better. I vowed to change. Whatever. Time passed. I start doing well.
Did you reach out again?
I did not reach out. He did 3 months ago. Like nothing ever happened.
And he didn't acknowledge that there was ever
the Newcastle guy.
Mm-mm.
I love him.
And what did you do?
He's crazy.
Did you reply?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
You're basically saying, if I wasn't good enough in my dark times, am I good enough now for you? Okay, well, no thank you then.
Yep.
Because everyone wants you on the come up.
It's interesting how that works.
Oof, I did not know that story. Wow. What are you guys' reaction to that? What are your feelings on that? I know Logan's, like you said, he had he's done his difficult stuff in the past, embarrassing things in the past, but working on getting better. We all make mistakes. We all say stupid shit. We all say dumb stuff. Lord knows I've tweeted a couple times some things that were misconstrued, but also weren't worded that well. So, you take the hits. You take the hits and you vow to get better. You learn to say things in a certain way that are different. So interesting. Yeah, interesting. And look, a lot of people tell me like he's a superstar. The Rock makes all the sense in the world. Let me look at do you know what the top 10 people are on the merch sales? Let me tell you who's not in the top 10. The Rock. And then you might go, well, of course not. He hasn't wrestled in years. Why would he be in the top 10? You know who's number 2 as of 2023? That's last year, just a month and a half ago or a month ago. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Still number 2, y'all. Ray, arrive, raise hell, leave. Number 2, y'all. The Rock doesn't push merch. He's not even in the top 10. So that should, you talk to me about a superstar. The WWE wrestling fans know. They know, right? Love and respect The Rock. But they know Stone Cold's their boy. Stone Cold's their guy. And no, it's not because he's white. They know this is a dude just like them. Blue-collar guy who works, does the job. Yeah, he hosts shows. Yeah, he does that. But it's something like CMT. It's different, right, in the approach. So people have a reverence for him. And so there's a difference. I'm just saying you got to factor in all these things when you look at this stuff. You got to look at it with all the perspectives out there so you have a good, well-rounded idea of this situation. Say Stone Cold still works for so does The Rock. I hate to break it to you. There's still relationships there. You know that. Empire, some people thought The Rock would run for president and not come back to the WWE. LOL. I know. Remember those days when people were like, yeah, The Rock should be president. Good luck. Good luck doing that now. And that might be an option for him. Hey, listen, don't rule it out. Like we saw with Arnold. If Arnold wasn't an immigrant, Arnold would have absolutely run for president. And there's a very real possibility he would have won. I mean, if Ronald Reagan and that Trump joke can win, certainly Arnold Schwarzenegger could have won. And there's a possibility where if the entertainment stuff starts to dry up and it's not anywhere near where he thought it was going to be, don't be surprised that The Rock makes a pivot towards politics. Because if there's someplace you can go that people will give you money because you're a name and a star and a status already, it is politics. And you could see The Rock becoming a president. Because just like The Rock, he'll skip over being a representative, being in the local government, being a senator, and go get the top spot. That's just how The Rock is built, for better or worse. That's his impulse, is to be number one, right? It's always, that was the thing him and Stone Cold talk about all the time. They battled constantly to be the guy because they believed they deserved to be the guy. So did Triple H, but he never achieved the heights that The Rock and Stone Cold did. So it's a different situation, Let's see, what else have we got here that I wanted to hit on Twitter here. Oh, let's go back to that. Let's go back and see more stuff from Twitter here. And let me take that down. Let me make it bigger. Yeah, there we go. And let me take the banners down. Keep sending in your Streamlabs super chats, folks. We will get to them for sure. Now, I'm going to talk a little Carl Weather stuff in a little bit as well as we go along. Oops, wrong place there. Where's the Rock? Here. So this is what's coming. What's the latest? Is there a latest? Is there anything big? Insane reactions that people are actually denying. Literally 90% of people don't want to see The Rock versus Roman anymore. Where's the numbers? We were getting numbers on how many dislikes The Rock had, or how many dislikes the video had, and I don't know where that's at. What's this trailer for? The Rock interrupting Cody Rhodes. Let's see. We saw that, and there's Roman or Logan's thing. CM Punk knew it. Oh yeah, CM Punk. And right when you're about to cross the finish line and finish your story, wait, what's that in the distance? It's a much bigger superstar that hasn't been around in a very long time coming to take it from me. Yeah, of course. Talking about what happened to himself when The Rock came in and took his spot. Okay, there's some strong words there. I'm going to leave that. Yeah, WWE edited out Cody Rhodes' interaction with The Rock and Cody's walkout during the recent uploaded highlight clip. So when people try to tell you, oh, this is all a work. This is all a work. They wouldn't remove that shit if it was a work. They wouldn't remove that stuff if it was a work. It's because they want to save their guy from being the focus of all this negative attention. They want to save The Rock from being the focus of all this negative attention. And as I said half an hour ago, The Rock himself was tweeting about a UFC situation and added something there and then removed it, re-edited it, and people called him out for it. And then he posted on Twitter this picture of himself and saying that he's undeniable, or sorry, Instagram, saying that he's undeniable, all that kind of stuff. And then he put at the bottom, thick skin, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you have thick skin, then you are okay with accepting that Black Adam wasn't a good movie and that you were one of the reasons it wasn't a good movie. Wouldn't you? If you have thick skin, it doesn't affect you for people to say negative stuff about your movie. And if there is negative stuff about your movie, for you to accept it, right? I'm just saying, these are these things. And no one who's a star doesn't have some semblance of thin skin, for sure. Now let's see here. Where's the other? I was trying to find. Some of these memes are incredible. Yeah, there's Cody with the torn pec there wrestling against Seth Rollins. Oh yeah, there's the comparison to Brett telling Hogan to go in. It's essentially what Cody did, telling The Rock to go in there, if you guys remember that. This is from Wrestling World CC. After The Rock's latest tweet was flooded with pro Cody Rhodes related tweets, the second it went up, fans noticed that The Rock ended up editing the tweet, potentially to wipe clean the first few Cody Rhodes related outrage tweets under his original post. So if you're deleting and editing, how thick is your skin exactly? So, these are questions you have to ask yourself when you look at all of this. Where's WrestleOps? I want to find WrestleOps because they've been doing a great job with covering this stuff and to getting us in. If you don't follow them on Twitter, you should. They're a good follow. They get a lot of stuff here when you're looking at it. Let's see here. Yeah, Shinsuke attack. This is from last night, so they're going back to the Shinsuke Cody situation, mid-Carter feud, for God's sakes. So, yeah, here we go. We Want Cody hashtag is now trending with over 300,000 posts and is number 3 in the United States. It was number 1 for a while. And, PW Insider says they're monitoring this stuff. The video has over 6 million views already, and The Rock used a video with the NXT brand's pay-per-view tonight being advertised right to the viewer's eye. Vengeance Day. We Want Cody is now trending with over 200,000 posts from people. So 10,000 people in an arena, 200,000 posts on social media. No, people want to go, oh, social media, it doesn't matter. But arena people matter. 10,000, get out of here. Get out of here, man. It all matters. I'm saying it all matters, not one over the other. Rock and Roman Reigns segment from this past Friday's episode of SmackDown has now surpassed 500,000 dislikes. This was 10 hours ago. So it's certainly probably a lot more than that. And under 36 hours, 4 million views, 97,000 likes, 500,000 dislikes. That is scary to think about. And here's the booing that Justin was talking. This was at WWE Knoxville. Let's shut this up. Boo. Yeah, there's some boos, but it wasn't as loud as you would expect it to be in a situation like that. So USA Today is also covering this. So anyway, just want to show you, man, this is a big, big story. This is a big deal. And if people are talking about it in the mainstream media, I guarantee you this is the last way that TKO Endeavor and Netflix and the WWE wanted this stuff to be covered. I don't care how much they try to lie to you now that this was all part of the plan. This is all part of the work. Bullshit. They wanted to have a massive reaction on the weekend, have people forget about Vince and focus on The Rock coming back to wrestle control of the WWE away from Roman Reigns, the hero Rock returning to save the land he once ruled from the evil king and take his crown from him, the belt, and sit atop the throne again. That's essentially what they were doing here. So because if The Rock beats Roman Reigns, what's left for Cody? There's not much. It's crumbs off the table. It's crumbs off the family table, The Rock's family's table. That's what's left for Cody. It makes no sense for The Rock to destroy Roman, and then Cody goes, oh, and I'll just take the belt too, or I'll now defeat you and get my revenge. Makes zero to no sense now. It has to be Cody first, The Rock second. Makes no sense, The Rock first and Cody second. unless you're looking at it through money eyes. And let me tell you something. They may be the first comparison to Citizen Kane to the WWE ever. But in Citizen Kane, my favorite movie, one of the greatest movies ever made, the character of Bernstein says something to the reporter. He says, well, didn't you, the reporter asks, well, didn't you make a lot of money? And Bernstein says, it's no secret to make a lot of money if all you want to do is to make a lot of money. And that's the difference. There's people who want to make money and make a difference. There's people who want to make money and do it for the right reasons. There are people who want to make money and satisfy the fans. And there are people who just want to make money. And there's a difference, right? So you have to decide for yourself which camp you lie in, for God's sakes. The Rock dethroning Roman buries everyone who put Roman over on his reign. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, exactly. More mainstream eyes, says Jamal Bayless. Be careful what you ask for. Totally. I don't know if you guys saw the meme that went around of Cody getting a gift from Triple H, and he opens the box and it's the Stardust costume. Oh man, that was brutal. Yeah, so there you go. Let's see. Do we have any more Streamlabs or Super Chats that I haven't answered? Because I want to kind of wrap this particular section of the show up here as we're an hour and a half into the show. Wow, 265 of you hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Here we go. Masante Brock. I hope I'm saying that right. Masante Brock. He says, anybody justifying The Rock needs to look themselves in the mirror and ask themselves, what if they were Cody Rhodes? You're just going to give your spot up to The Rock? The Rock is a selfish jackass, and that's how I feel. Hey, Masante, I'm not going to deny your feeling. That's your feeling, your opinion, your point of view. I respect it. That's your analysis of the situation, and you're more than welcome to it, brother. And I agree with you. And look, people will say these are made-up characters in a wrestling pro. Why are you getting so upset? The same people who flip out if Spider-Man does one thing differently in a movie or something. The same people to flip out because an activist director is directing the new Daisy Ridley movie. These are the same people who flip out of that's nonsense, are the same people telling you that, oh, why are you getting so upset about pro wrestling? Fake characters are fake characters. Doesn't matter the fucking forum, okay? Or the arena where it's happening. Film, television, or pro wrestling. Fake characters are fake characters. People have passion about those fake characters. They care about certain things. They have feelings about it. And so that's why it's a situation that it is. So, and they are comparable no matter what you lie and tell yourself. Empire Fan is nice. He says, some people thought The Rock would run for president. Oh, yeah. What do you answer that one? Empire Fan says, so Cody really is more CM Punk than CM Punk. Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but someone photoshopped Cody Rhodes' face onto CM Punk's body. I think in the Stardust look, onto CM Punk's body in the pipe bomb pose. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was hilarious when I saw that on Twitter. Let's see. No more Streamlabs. Okay. No more Streamlabs. All right. Is there anything more you guys want to talk about? I mean, hour and a half I've been talking about this. Is there anything more that you guys want to talk about with all of this? Anything more you guys that I missed? Anything more you want to suggest in the chat that I missed here? Because I don't want to go too long on this situation. Even though I've gone an hour and a half on this situation. And I'm sure Christian and I are going to talk about it on the big thing tomorrow. Whenever we do the show tomorrow, I'm sure we're going to talk about it on the big thing. So put that in your possible rotation of things to watch tomorrow. I'm sure we'll get into it. Sami Zayn, did you see? Oh, Mr. Downtown says, did you see what Sami Zayn said at the house show last night? He believes this is the WWE is the best time since the Attitude Era. Yes, but then, The Rock parachuting in kind of puts a weird stank on it, so to speak. So I don't know if I agree with the best times since the Attitude Era. I think there are a lot of Cena fans who would tell you that's bullshit. A lot of Edge fans who would tell you that's bullshit. Sammy is great and all, but R-Truth is doing everything Sammy just did and doing it better with the Judgment Day. You know what I'm saying? Sammy was funny. But R-Truth is like next level, dog. That's like a fucking performance artist, what he's doing with the Judgment Day situation versus Sami Zayn doing a great series of stand-up specials across the country. Fucking R-Truth is doing something bordering on performance art. that is genius. I mean, the little babies in oh my god, that video of them as little babies in Judgment Day lost my mind. So brilliant. All right, let's take a quick break, and I'm going to jump into some Carl Weathers stuff and some box office stuff, and then we'll wrap it up. If you want to send in some Streamlabs and Super Chats to ask me any questions you want to ask me, feel free to do that now before we wrap up the show. But I'll be right back right after this. All right, I'm back. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. Appreciate it. 250 you hanging out with me right now. Please make sure you hit a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Really, the number one thing. Please subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below if you're watching after I've already gone live. Share it on your social media. Let people know about what I'm talking about. It'll be a lot of fun here. But let's move on to Carl Weathers. Sadly, 76 years old, passing away earlier this week. What a tough loss this is for sure. What an incredible man. Incredible legacy that he leaves as an actor. You all know the movies, the Rocky movies, as Apollo Creed, Action Jackson here, doing stuff in the 70s as well, doing a lot of TV shows. Then getting into the 90s, finding the comedy gene of his with that Happy Gilmore stuff there, and then what he moved on to later on with the and Predator, of course, in the 1980s as well. But later when he moved on into doing Star Wars, doing Grief Karga, directing some of the episodes, doing voiceover work, showing up in a number of TV shows here as well, and going in Arrested Development, playing himself in Arrested Development, and ending up doing stuff here at a number of the cons around in the country. Great stuff by Carl Weathers, giving of himself. An incredible guy, sadly passing at 76 years old. I just wanted to say that for me, man, this is a guy who I had a lot of respect for, loved the Rocky series, of course. Apollo was a massive reason why I loved that Rocky series. To me, you can't have Rocky without Apollo. It doesn't work. And Creed's always been an element of the best of Rocky, right? Even the rebirth of Rocky is called Creed because of Apollo Creed's name, right? It's his son, but it's Apollo Creed's name. Apollo Creed hangs over that franchise constantly, right? So to me, that's the most important thing. I don't know if you guys saw Stallone's tribute to him, but it was touching and heartfelt, kind of like what Rocky said about Apollo when he passed. If you guys have watched those deleted scenes, it's beautiful. So I was really blown away by that. And a lot of people were touched and affected by him. We've now lost 2 members of the Star Wars family recently with Ray Stevenson passing away, who played Bela Skull, and then losing Grief Karga, losing Carl Weathers, But as I said, growing up with him, I was such a fan of his for what he did in Rocky. And so I watched a lot of the stuff growing up in the 1980s, and when he showed him Predator, and my feelings about Predator, we've joked about that, and seeing him do a number of TV shows as well back in the 90s. And I always felt like, God, it sucks that he's not bigger. I always felt like, man, this guy is so good at what he did. It was so much fun to see these movies, Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, training Rocky, and then sadly, of course, in Rocky 4 when he passes. People forget that's all 1976 to about 1983, 84, something like. So it's like 10 years or 8 years where he was really a big part of the Rocky franchise in 4 installments. And then, he doesn't come back. Mickey becomes a thing, and Tommy. And then later on, it's Rocky versus Mason the Lion Dixon. And we get Paulie becoming more of the central focus. And then, boom, we go into Creed, where it becomes Michael B. Jordan. But it was a massive part of that. So I always wanted and championed and rooted for him. And look, Action Jackson is a cult classic. It's not really a great movie, but it's a fun movie. It's a fun cult classic action film from the 1980s for sure. I don't think anybody would put that thing with 5 stars or whatever, but it was a blast to see him be a part of that. And they were trying to essentially spin him off into his own thing. And unfortunately, it never really took. It never took off. And then he was, as I said, Chubbs and Happy Gilmore. But in the meantime, he was like in The Heat of the Night, Hurricane Smith, Tour of Duty, if some of you remember that. in all of that. And he's, he did a number of things here trying to stay a part of the conversation. He was in The Shield for a few episodes. He was in a show called Brothers, ER, Psych. He had a few episodes there. Arrested Development, as I mentioned, 4 episodes. Colony, which I never saw, 7 episodes. Some people like that show. Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, 6 episodes of that. Chicago Justice, 13 episodes of that. And then 10 episodes doing numerous voices, including Omnitraxis in Star versus the Force of Evil. He was Combat Carl in Toy Story series, and then, of course, in The Mandalorian. So it's incredible that a black actor was able to work for multiple decades in this business, because black actors don't always get the opportunities to work for multiple decades and stay alive and do the things that they need to do to be able to get into the positions to book the work, and sometimes take work that sucks just so they can stay in the conversation, stay in Hollywood, stay working, stay booking things, stay an actor that's seen. So it was great to see him have like this great explosion in the Rocky movies, then a second renaissance when he came in and played the comedy stuff in the 90s, and then a third renaissance when he came back. And this was the renaissance that I was most enjoying, the older Carl Weathers. If you followed him on social media, he was a guy that was super positive, always talking about bringing people together, about being the best you can be, about, trying to see the other side. And then when people went after him from the other side who weren't positive, he always like, hey, be peace, man. Feel what you want to feel or whatever, but be peace. And that was his approach to things. And he was about spreading this positivity message, spreading this message of peace and people coming together and people caring about each other again in such a fractured world. I thought it was an awesome follow. And his interviews and conversations. And look, even Gina Carano, who's very much on the outs of Star Wars, she posted a tribute to him that I thought was sweet. It also, of course, brought up the Star Wars thing and her being fired, because God forbid she can't let that sit. But it was a nice tribute to how Carl was like, you know what, keep your head up, whatever, because Carl's probably been there, and experienced negative stuff or experienced not getting a chance to do the thing you want to do. And so, offered sweet condolences. He wasn't condoning what Gina Carano said or posted or did, which were pretty fucking terrible in my opinion. He was just saying like, hey, keep your head up, as a human to human, which is who Carl Weathers is as a person at the end here. And so it was great to see. And then him directing some of the fun episodes. I don't know if you saw Ahmed Best's tribute to Carl, because Ahmed coming back to play this Jedi character that was kind of on the fringes of being canon and then officially became canon in that episode that Carl directed. He said, Carl just put his hands on my shoulders, talked to me, really got me into it, calmed my fears, calmed my nerves, got me to focus on the work and be this thing. And so, great stuff here, great energy. And so it's even sadder to see him go. And it's very reminiscent of Ray Stevenson in a way, because Ray Stevenson had kind of blown up with Rome, which was a lot of people must remember loving that series. Then he did the Punisher film, didn't really take off, and then didn't really take off and do much else. Showing up in the Thor films, I'm sure was fine, everything else. But then he was coming back as Balin Skull, and people were realizing, oh yeah, this motherfucker can act. This is a goddamn good actor. And he's older now, seasoned, a veteran, been through the wars of life. So he's bringing more pathos to his work. I sensed that a lot in what Carl was doing, bringing more pathos to the work of this character. And, the iconic way he said Mando, those things, we're never going to hear him say it again, other than the way he did it before. So it's a shame on so many levels to lose him at 76. But look, if you're going to going in your sleep is not a bad way to go, and I don't know if you feel pain when you go in your sleep or if it's just a bit of a surprise and you wake up and you're gone. Wherever you go, of course, I believe there's a heaven. Some of you may not believe that's fine. Believe what you want to believe. But I think it's something to think about. It's how I want to go. And I think 76, although we are missing out on more years with him, I personally think 76 is a great time to go. So, if I live past 76, something's wrong. So I'm good to go at 7. Anytime between 70 and 76, you can come on and take me out of here, because I've lived a pretty insane and fun and crazy life. And the fact that I'm still standing all these years later after all the shit I've been through and the stuff I've experienced, I'd be happy to go another 20 years and call it a day for sure. There are other people who can take up the air and do things with their world and with their lives. So, but yeah, it's a shame to lose him selfishly. But he leaves an incredible legacy for a lot of younger actors, no matter what their color or ethnicity or origin, to follow. And for black actors, I think especially, he leaves a great legacy, in my opinion, because He's a guy who worked through numerous decades and was able to make it happen and make it work. So it is possible. It's not easy, but it's possible. And hopefully it's more and more possible for Black actors and actors of color to keep succeeding and working for numerous decades and finding that moment again, finding those moments again to be back in the mainstream and people know your name and people talk about you. And so I hope that happens for other people down the road as well. All right. The last thing I want to talk about, I guess, Jamal says, "Hey, Rocha, I will still be subbed. Don't you quit on us." We shall see. All right, the box office stuff. I did want to talk about the box office stuff just real quickly, just to mention that the box office. Oh, I suppose I should end the conversation with Carl Weathers to say to his family, we send our deepest condolences, our thoughts of love and comfort, and we hope he rests in peace. And thank you, Carl, for everything you brought to our worlds and how much personally you entertained me in my life for numerous decades with your work, and how much I enjoyed seeing you and what a great energy you were on screen, man. So thank you so much, and rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace, rest in love, and rest in power. All right, let's move on to some box office stuff here, and let's talk about Argylle. Argylle, Matthew Vaughn's globe-trotting spy comedy here, sputtered in its box office debut, earning a dismal $18 million. This movie was made for $200 million. It got terrible reviews. It has 35% on Rotten Tomatoes, a C+ on the cinema score. And yeah, it only added like 17 million from 78 international markets for a worldwide tally of $35 million. Vaughn, who's done the Kingsman films, he did X-Men First Class, and he was intending to turn Argylle into a trilogy, but I can't imagine that's going to happen now. David A. Gross, who runs the consulting firm for Franchise Entertainment Research, said this is a weak opening for a new action comedy, for an original action comedy, and this marks Apple's third big screen bet following Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon and Ridley Scott's Napoleon. All three of them have underperformed at the box office for sure, but $200 million, when I watched that movie, that made no sense to me to spend that much on the film like that. And I saw some people saying, oh, this is a condemnation on Henry Cavill as a star, and that is absolute madness. I retweeted that ridiculous tweet. This has nothing to do with Henry Cavill. This is not a Henry Cavill movie. He's not the lead in this movie. He's not the story in this movie. It is all Bryce Dallas Howard. It is all her story with Sam Rockwell, and she is the novelist who writes these spy novels and apparently has spy ESP. And I'll tell you, the film was ridiculous. It was foolish. It was way overlong. Had some terrible scenes. I felt like there was no chemistry between Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell. And to me, this film is a referendum on Matthew Vaughn and Bryce Dallas Howard. And I know people don't want to hear to say this. We're not allowed to talk negatively about certain people. No, you got to tell the truth. The truth is the film underperformed because nobody wanted to see Bryce Dallas Howard in this movie. Nobody. And I don't think she's a selling point for a big franchise picture. Don't give me Jurassic World. Those are the fucking dinosaurs. Why don't you show me the box office of all the Chris Pratt movies that are not dinosaur movies, and I'll show you the difference. And that's the situation here, okay? And I just think this is a very clear indication that she's a good actress, but I don't know if she's an actress to lead a franchise, to be honest with you. And I think that's the message you take from this. And that Matthew Vaughn might be running out of juice. Look, The King's Man is a fine film, but it's not a great film. The Kingsman was damn good, but the sequel wasn't that good. X-Men First Class was good. X-Men First Class was okay. Days of Future Past was much better. And so I wonder if we're hitting the saturation point of Matthew Vaughn, that maybe it's time to go back to the smaller stuff. Maybe it's time for him to get away from the big budgets and go back to the smaller movies like Layer Cake, things where he made his bones. Some directors with big budgets can't quite handle the big budgets and can't quite deliver the quality that they could with smaller budgets. We see it happen all the time, and so a number of directors who get a shot to do big budget stuff, they keep striking or delivering middling or meh films. And in the end, enough is enough. You can't get the $200 million anymore. So I don't know. This is, to me, Apple can't hide behind. And I saw some people trying to defend Apple after Killers of the Flower Moon tanked or didn't do well, and Napoleon didn't do well. Like, oh, those are prestige films. They're trying to get awards. Don't you get how a studio, whatever, man. Everything's about making money. Everything. Okay. All these films are about making money. Businesses are about making money in the world of film. That's what they want to do. Yes, do they expect some films to not do well and they'll be awards contenders? Of course they do. But overall, they want films to make money. And certainly something like Argylle was never going to be in consideration for anything like awards-wise, maybe MTV Awards, Best Action Sequences or something. That's what you're going to look at here. And this underperforming with those three, it tells you that Apple is doing great with the TV series, but you might have some questions on the theatrical side of things. Ghosted wasn't good. I haven't seen the Mark Wahlberg one with Michelle Monaghan and the family. My friend's kids are the kids in that movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I haven't seen, it was one of the top watched movies on Apple, so I don't know the quality of it, but that's a good thing for it. But mostly these films don't come out and grab people by the throat and make them want to watch it. I mean, even The Banker was kind of middling. I know the Billie Eilish documentary was nice, but there hasn't been that many Apple films that have come out that have been great. But the Apple TV shows, fuck yeah, those are incredible. There are some great Apple TV shows, obviously with Severance and Slow Horses, Foundation, Silo. There's some really great shows. Ted Lasso, for the most part, there's some great shows that have come through Apple. I just think movies-wise, we got some issues that we need to straighten out with Apple. So they might want to take a look at this stuff and take a look at the Tetris film was good, but that's the rarity, isn't it? Like here, I want to bring that up. Let's bring up some Apple Plus films and see what let's list of Apple Plus original movies. Here we go. Holla, sure. The Banker, Greyhound was fun, but probably wouldn't have done that well. On the Rocks got no conversation. Wolf Walkers, Palmer, Cherry was destroyed. Coda is a good film, right? Come From Away is essentially just the filmed musical on stage. Finch, I liked Finch. It didn't get a lot of attention, but I liked it. Swan Song, good film. Didn't get a lot of attention. The Tragedy of Macbeth, that got attention. Damn good film. The Sky is Everywhere. Cha-Cha Real Smooth got some attention. Luck got destroyed. Greatest Beer Run ever didn't get a lot of attention. Raymond and Ray didn't get a lot of attention. Causeway got awards attention. Spirited was fun, but I don't know, what the numbers on that are. Emancipation, I thought, was damn good performance by Will Smith overall, even if the film didn't 100% get there. Sharper, Tetris, I haven't seen. Ghosted, terrible. Beanie Bubble was fine. Flora and Son, I haven't seen. I need to watch that. A lot of people say that's a damn good movie. Fingernails, don't know what that is. The Family Plan is what I'm talking about with Mark Wahlberg. Napoleon, and then Argylle. And then Project Artemis is coming, and so is Wolf. So questions there to look at. So there's not a lot of hits here. There are some good movies, but a lot of these things are not getting any attention or conversation for themselves. So you have to wonder, what's the approach here, business-wise or business plan-wise for Apple when it comes to these movies? Because they're spending a lot of money on these movies, and in no way, shape, or form should it have been a $200 million movie. That is fucking ridiculous on so many levels when you look at that situation. Yeah, I need to watch that Tetris film, guys. All right, so what else do we want to talk about? That's it for the box office stuff, so let's let go. Oh, Rocha's Rumors. All right, let's wrap up with this. So if you're sending in a Streamlabs or Super Chat, send it in now because I'm going to wrap up with this Rocha's Rumors. Now, again, these are rumors. These are not things that I 100% can confirm, but these are rumors. Where did I put my rumors thing? I thought I had it. Do I have a separate place for Rocha's Rumors? I thought I had it as a video. Is it not here as a video? I thought I did have it as a video. Oh, interesting. I guess I don't have it as a video. Maybe I deleted it. I thought I was going to put it up here, but I guess maybe I didn't. Let me try. Let me try if I put it under the hot mic. Did I put it under the hot mic? No, I didn't. Weird. Okay. I had a thing for Rocha's Rumors, but I guess maybe I deleted it. All right. Anyway, well, let's get into it. Rocha's Rumors. These are things like people send me stuff all the time. And as I said, I can't 100% confirm it, but these are things that some of my sources are hearing in the wind. How much of this is real? How much of it isn't? Up to you to decide for sure. All right. So, okay. Oh, no, I'm not going to reveal that because that's a plot point of the Daredevil series. So I'm not going to confirm that or reveal that for sure. This one of my sources said, and he said, take this with a grain of salt, but they've heard that the Wachowskis and Gina Prince Bythewood, they've heard their names are being thrown around for possible Supergirl movie director. The Gina Prince Bythewood thing would be interesting. I mean, Jeff on the show on Thursday was asking, where's Old Guard 2? And it may be that Old Guard 2 isn't coming because maybe Gina Prince Bythewood has been in conversations with James Gunn to possibly direct Supergirl, which could be real interesting and a nice change of pace. And he has heard, speaking of James Gunn, that James Gunn wants to find the director for Supergirl before he starts shooting Superman in March. And he's been having meetings and talking to people about it. Again, this is all speculation, rumors from some of my sources. I mentioned the Conan the Barbarian stuff on Thursday's show. So if you want to take a look at that, you can. Okay, there's rumor he's hearing that Bill Skarsgard is in talks to play a young JFK in James Gray's next film based on JFK's time serving in World War II. So it might be the PT-109 boat film that has been made before. So, and I think Bill Skarsgard would be an interesting choice for JFK, although doesn't he have the accent? Can't you hear his accent a little bit with Skarsgard? So could be interesting to see if we can hide it behind that. He is also hearing, my source is, and these are rumors. Again, these are rumors. Okay. I'm not don't aggregate this, don't anything. These are rumors. Also still he's hearing that Supergirl and The Authority will be the next two DC films after Superman, that the Waller series and Lanterns will be the first TV shows, and that Peacemaker season 2 will be thrown in there. But Gunn is waiting until Superman is fully done until he begins production on Peacemaker season 2. And he says his guess is that it starts shooting a year from now. So, and the other thing he's hearing is from the PTA side of things. Some of you like Paul Thomas Anderson in his movies. Certainly I do. He is saying that what Jeff was reporting, the Vineland novel being the focus and the basis for the movie, that only about 50% of the original novel remains in the movie. So your guess as to what 50% remains in the movie for sure. And let's see if there's anything else from anyone else that I've been hearing on this, any of these situations. No, that's pretty much the rumors that I've heard from some of my sources. I kind of like Gina Prince Bythewood as a possible director for Supergirl. I liked Old Guard. It wasn't 100% great, but I like Gina Prince Bythewood as a director. So could be interesting to see her working with James Gunn to make Supergirl. Could be a phenomenal Supergirl. The Wachowskis is a really interesting choice as well because of their vision, the way whether you like their movies or not, you can't deny the scope of their vision in things like Cloud Atlas, Speed Racer, Matrix series. You know, they've got a vision. Even Jupiter Ascending, which I think they did, is horrible, but the vision of it all is phenomenal. So if you're going to have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, going to multiple planets and doing things in the galaxies, you got to have someone who has a real concrete idea of how to show that in a visual style and flair. That'll be interesting to the audience. So the Wachowskis could be fascinating for that choice. I love the idea of Bill Skarsgård as JFK. That's something that could be interesting to see as well. Supergirl and the Authority makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, he's already casting the Authority to appear in Superman Legacy. So it makes sense that he would work on a film for the Authority because things are going to happen probably in Superman Legacy that the Authority is going to answer or be influenced by. So let's see their movie and what that's all about. And if Supergirl shows up, which a lot of people speculate, including me, think it's going to happen in the scenes, in the post-credit scenes, or possibly have a part of the end of the movie, like a part of being part of the finale, then that's kind of offshoot to do Supergirl. So the fact that they cast the Authority and Supergirl already makes me think this rumor has a lot more credence to it. And the idea of Waller and Lanterns coming first, a lot of people want that Lantern show right now. People are excited about the Waller show, but she's already been established. Viola that's playing the character. And it does make sense that Peacemaker season 2 will have to wait until Superman Legacy is done because you want to focus on Superman Legacy. Unless James is not going to direct Peacemaker 2, then maybe he's there as a consultant or EP for some directors that come in and direct Peacemaker season 2. We shall see, because I mean, waiting until 2025, that's a little bit of a long ways away before you start Peacemaker season 2. And, Cena's not getting any younger, and it's harder to maintain that size and that bulk as you get older here in the world. So could be interesting to see if that's the way it goes down. So what are y'all's thoughts on these rumors? You like these rumors? Feelings on these rumors? You like anybody else? What's the thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section down below. If you want to send me some, wrap it up here because we're at 2 hours. I should go get some dinner. But thank you all. So let me know what you think about those rumors down in the comments section below and what you believe of this stuff. And as I said, don't forget about me tomorrow being on the Big Thing with Christian Harloff on his channel. We'll be talking about some of these subjects, I'm sure, and other things that he comes up with. It's always been fun. It's been fun really being on his channel over the last few weeks. It's been great to reacquaint myself with my friend and have fun conversations with my friend who I rarely get to see now because I live in San Diego. So it's fun to see him across the screen with me in these conversations. I'm sure we're going to talk Rock and Roman and Cody as well. Let's see. A few last Streamlabs. Shawnee Bear says WWE's reaction to Vince is like what DC was doing when a flom bombed. That's reaction. When a flop bombed, that's reactionary, right? I agree, Shawnee. It's reactionary, not earned. And Sean was, are you streaming the Super Bowl? Watch Mahomes get number 3 live. Yeah, I absolutely do a watch along of the Super Bowl. Probably on this channel. I probably will do it on this channel. Super Bowl watch along just to get some cheap views. Fuck it, I don't care. So I will probably stream it live here on this channel. If not, it'll be on Game Time. But I'm leaning towards being on this channel, and we'll see if Sean if Winston or anybody else can join me for that. It'll be fun to see if they can. All right, is that everything? Yes, that's everything. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me here on this live episode of The Nation. Thanks for taking 2 hours of each Sunday to hang out with me. If you're still on and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that bell button. If you're watching later, leave a comment on anything that we covered here. And if you want to send in some support for the channel, send in support for what I'm doing, hit that thanks button and send in your support from there. What else? You can follow me at The ROCHA'S on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. Look for all my content coming this week. And for those who haven't seen the Cinephiles, you can download the Cinephiles wherever you download podcasts. That's my podcast about movies. We average about 150 to 200,000 downloads a month. Really proud, about 100,000 downloads a week, so maybe 400,000 downloads a month. Really proud of that show. Really proud of what we created. We're in the middle of the season of Scorsese. We profile a filmmaker every year. We're in the middle of it right now, and we started with part 1 of Goodfellas. That's out there for you all to enjoy. If some of you are still living off the high of Groundhog Day, we recently did a 2-episode podcast series on Groundhog Day, the Bill Murray film. So go and listen to that as well on the Cinephiles. On the Geek Buddies, we'll have stuff coming up this week. We also have our own separate podcast feed, so please subscribe to that. And the Hot Mic has its own podcast feed as well, so you don't have to you don't have to watch Jeff and I and our pretty little faces. You can just listen to us in your ears as we go crazy on each other. All right, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. You all mean the world to me. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me get it all out of my system. I didn't know it would take me an hour and a half to get it fully out of my system, but I appreciate you all hanging out while I did so. So take care of yourselves. Be well. Enjoy the rest of your evening weekend here, and I'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of The Nation here on the Outlaw Nation channel. Peace.